Welcome to the ACE JK engine and transfer case skid installation video. Here's what comes in the box. For the engine skid, you'll receive the engine skid plate, 2 mounting brackets, 1 large bolt assembly, 4 small bolt assemblies, and 4 bolt savers. For the transfer case skid, you'll have the transfer case skid plate, 4 bolt savers, and 1 large bolt assembly. If you ordered the combo, you'll receive both skid plates, 2 mounting brackets, 4 bolt savers, 4 small bolt assemblies, and 1 large bolt assembly. These are the tools you'll need to complete the transfer case skid install: a ratchet, an impact wrench, an 18mm socket, a 3/4 inch socket, a 5/8 socket, a 5/8 wrench, a 3/4 inch wrench, and a 3/16 Allen wrench. Step 1. Make sure your vehicle is in park, on a flat surface, and chock the wheels. Now that your Jeep is secure, we're going to start by removing the factory transfer case skid. Using an 18mm socket, remove the 2 bolts in the middle and 1 on each side of the tube. Pull off the skid and retain the bolts for future use. Step 2. If you're just installing the transfer case skid, you'll need to remove the bolt in the center of the crossmember so you can slide the skid underneath. If you're installing the engine skid as well, you'll also need to remove these 2 bolts to pull off the factory transmission exhaust skid. Step 3. Using the factory bolts, we're going to install the rear of the transfer case skid into these 2 factory holes. A second pair of hands is helpful to hold up the skid, and you're just going to want to hand tighten these loosely for now. If you're installing the engine skid plate as well, you'll want to jump ahead to step 6. If you're just installing the transfer case skid, proceed with step 4. Step 4. Using the factory hardware with the provided bolt savers, install the front of the transfer case skid to these 3 factory threaded holes. Tighten these down moderately so you can get the final bolt in, but don't fully tighten them yet. Use the large provided bolt, insert it through the bolt saver, then through the crossmember. On the top side, place the flat washer, then the lock washer, then the nut, and hand tighten. Step 5. Using the 18mm socket, tighten down the 5 factory bolts all the way. Switch to your 11/16 socket and wrench and tighten down the final provided bolt. That finishes the transfer case skid install. When you're all finished, it should look like this. Step 6. These are the tools you'll need to complete the engine skid plate installation: an 18mm socket with either an impact wrench or a ratchet, an 11/16 wrench, and an 11/16 socket. We're going to start by installing the driver's side mounting bracket. The short side goes to the top and it's mounted through the front hole on the frame side of the motor mount. Using one of the small supplied bolts, we'll insert it with a large washer and secure it with a lock washer and nut on the back. Hand tighten. We'll be installing the S bracket to the passenger side in the same location as the driver. The S bracket is universal and can be installed either side up. Again, we're going to go bolt with washer and then lock washer and nut on top, and we'll just hand tighten that as well. Step 7. With an extra set of hands, lift the engine skid plate into place and use one of the factory bolts and a bolt saver to hand tighten into the driver's side of the crossmember. If you've installed the transfer case skid plate, that will go under the engine skid plate and the bolt will secure them both. Step 8. Now we'll move up to the front and attach the skid plate to the driver's side mounting bracket using a small bolt and washer. Secure it loosely with a lock washer and nut. Then we'll do the same thing on the passenger side. Step 9. Using your 18mm socket, snug up the first bolt you installed in the crossmember to draw the skid plate into place and line up the remaining hole locations. Continue installing and tightening the next 2 bolts and bolt savers until they're all fully tightened. Step 10. Install the long bolt with the bolt saver into the passenger side hole and secure it with a flat washer, then a lock washer and nut. Then tighten it down with a 3/4 inch wrench and a 3/4 inch socket. Step 11. Using your 5/8 wrench and socket, you're going to tighten all 4 of the bolts in the front starting on the passenger side and moving your way across. Be sure to tighten the mount to the Jeep and the plate to the mount. Step 12. Your oil pan access door should come pre-installed, but if you've removed it or need to get it on or off, you just slide it into place and use a 3/16 Allen wrench to secure it back into the engine skid. And that's it. You've just completed the ACE JK engine and transfer case skid installation. Now hit the trails and test them out.